1 mark and 2 mark. 1. Renewable resources. A renewable resource is an organic natural resource which can replenish to overcome usage and consumption, either through biological reproduction or other naturally recurring processes, e.g. food grains. 2. Non-renewable resources. A non-renewable resource, also called a finite resource, is a resource that does not renew itself at a sufficient rate for sustainable economic extraction in meaningful human time frames, e.g. petrol. 3. Deforestation. Deforestation is the permanent destruction of forests in order to make the land available for other uses. 4. Afforestation. Afforestation is the establishment of a forest or stand of trees in an area where there was no forest. 5. Ecosystem. An ecosystem is a community of living organisms, plants, animals and microbes, in conjunction with the non-living components of their environment, things like air, water and mineral soil, interacting as a system, e.g. marine ecosystem. 6. Producer. Producers are organisms that can make their own energy through biochemical processes, a process in living things that involves chemical reactions, e.g. plants. 7. Consumer. Consumers are organisms of an ecological food chain that receive energy by consuming other organisms, e.g. animals. 8. Decomposer. Decomposers are organisms that break down dead or decaying organisms, and in doing so, carry out the natural process of decomposition, e.g. earthworms, bacteria, mushrooms. 9. Food chain. A food chain is a linear sequence of links in a food web starting from producer species such as grass or trees, and ending at apex predator species like grizzly bears or killer whales, or decomposer species such as fungi or bacteria. 10. Food web. A food web or food cycle is the natural interconnection of food chains and generally a graphical representation, usually an image, of what eats what in an ecological community. 11. Energy pyramid. An energy pyramid is a graphical model of energy flow in a community. The different levels represent different groups of organisms that might compose a food chain. 12. Keystone species. A keystone species is a species that has a disproportionately large effect on its environment relative to its abundance. Such species are described as playing a critical role in maintaining the structure of an ecological community, affecting many other organisms in an ecosystem and helping to determine the types and numbers of various other species in the community, e.g. tiger. 13. Flagship species. The flagship species concept holds that by raising the profile of a particular species, it can successfully leverage more support for biodiversity conservation at large in a particular context. 14. Ecological succession. Ecological succession is the observed process of change in the species structure of an ecological community over time. 15. Climax. In ecology, climax community, or climatic climax community, is a historic term that expressed a biological community of plants and animals and fungi which, through the process of ecological succession, the development of vegetation in an area over time, had reached a steady state. 16. Estuary. An estuary is a body of water formed where fresh water from rivers and streams flows into the ocean, mixing with the seawater. 17. Biodiversity. Biodiversity is the variety of different types of life found on Earth. It is a measure of the variety of organisms present in different ecosystems. 18. Genetic diversity. Genetic diversity refers to the total number of genetic characteristics in the genetic makeup of a species. 19. Biogeography. Biogeography is the study of the distribution of species and ecosystems in geographic space and through geological time. 20. Endangered species. An endangered species is a species which has been categorized by the International Union for Conservation of Nature (IUCN) Red List as likely to become extinct. 21. Pollution. Pollution is the introduction of contaminants into the natural environment that causes adverse change. 22. Pollutant. A pollutant is a substance or energy introduced into the environment that has undesired effects, or adversely affects the usefulness of a resource. 23. Point source of pollution. A point source of pollution is a single identifiable source of air, water, thermal, noise or light pollution. 24. Non-point source of pollution. Non-point source (NPS) pollution refers to both water and air pollution from diffuse sources. Although these pollutants have originated from a point source, the long-range transportability and multiple sources of the pollutant make it a non-point source of pollution. 25. Municipal solid waste. Municipal solid waste includes commercial and residential wastes generated in a municipal or notified area in either solid or semi-solid form, excluding industrial hazardous wastes but including treated biomedical wastes. 26. Composting. Composting involves collecting organic waste, such as food scraps and yard trimmings, and storing it under conditions designed to help it break down naturally. This resulting compost can then be used as a natural fertilizer. 27. Vermicomposting. Vermicompost is the product or process of composting using various worms, usually red wigglers, white worms, and other earthworms to create a heterogeneous mixture of decomposing vegetable or food waste, bedding materials, and vermicast. The process of producing vermicompost is called vermicomposting. 28. Landslide. Landslide, also known as a landslip, is a geological phenomenon that includes a wide range of ground movements, such as rock falls, deep failure of slopes and shallow debris flows. 29. Energy crisis. An energy crisis is any great bottleneck or price rise in the supply of energy resources to an economy. 30. Climate change. Climate change is a change in the statistical distribution of weather patterns when that change lasts for an extended period of time, i.e., decades to millions of years. 31. Global warming. Global warming is the term used to describe a gradual increase in the average temperature of the Earth's atmosphere and its oceans, a change that is believed to be permanently changing the Earth's climate. 32. Acid rain. Acid rain is caused by a chemical reaction that begins when compounds like sulfur dioxide and nitrogen oxides are released into the air. These substances can rise very high into the atmosphere, where they mix and react with water, oxygen, and other chemicals to form more acidic pollutants, known as acid rain. 33. Ozone depletion. Ozone depletion is the steady decline of ozone in Earth's stratosphere, the ozone layer, due to pollutants. 34. Consumerism. Consumerism refers to protection or promotion of the interests of consumers. The growth of consumerism has led to many organizations improving their service to the customer. 35. Environment Protection Act. The Environment Protection Act was enacted in 1986 with the objective of providing for the protection and improvement of the environment. The Act was last amended in 1991. It empowers the central government to establish authorities to tackle specific environmental problems that are peculiar to different parts of the country. 36. Wildlife Protection Act. The government enacted Wildlife Protection Act 1972 with the objective of effectively protecting the wildlife of this country and to control poaching, smuggling and illegal trade in wildlife and its derivatives. The Act was amended in January 2003. 37. Population explosion. A rapid increase in the size of a population or the geometric expansion of a biological population caused by such factors as a sudden decline in infant mortality or an increase in life expectancy. 38. AIDS. Acquired Immune Deficiency Syndrome (HIV/AIDS) is a spectrum of conditions caused by human immunodeficiency virus infection. It is a sexually transmitted disease. 39. Infectious diseases. Infectious diseases, also known as transmissible diseases or communicable diseases, are caused by pathogenic microorganisms, such as bacteria, viruses, parasites or fungi. The diseases can be spread, directly or indirectly, from one person to another. 40. Environmental health. Environmental health is the branch of public health that is concerned with all aspects of the natural and built environment that may affect human health.